Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Big Mike back here with you once again. And today I'm going to give you my thoughts and a recap for NWA's Hard Times 3. A very interesting show with a pretty controversial ending. We'll get to it. So, let's do this. So, we have 4 matches on the pre-show, which that's surprising. I guess a couple were fill-ins. So, first match on the card, we have Matthew Mims, Big Strong Mims. An interesting character, an interesting younger guy to see grow. Against Anthony Andrews. I believe he's one half of a tag team, the Country Gentlemen, which is kind of an interesting team. This was definitely a very kind of quick match, kind of really a nothing. Mims gets the win and kicks off the show pretty well. I'm going to give it kind of a thumbs right here. Like I said, it was kind of a nothing match. Oh, apparently it was a number 1 contenders match for the TV title. So, Mims is getting a title shot in the future. So that's cool on him. I like that. Next match is a tag team match for the Wildcat Tag Team Championship. Now, the Wildcat promotion, I'm not super familiar with. I guess it's a smaller promotion in New Orleans that NWA is co-promoting with. So yeah, their tag team titles are on the line as Slime Season, which is Buku Dao, who is I'm familiar with from the time he was in MLW briefly. And J Spade. Oh, J Spade. I know J Spade. Taking on, representing the Miserably Faithful, Gags the Gimp and Sal the Pal. This was definitely another quick-paced match, considering both sides are, very fast, very more cruiserweight-ish, but definitely an interesting little match. Gags at one point tries to go for his unzip tongue thing, whatever that is. The champions then counter, hit their tag team finisher, and retain. I really enjoyed this little matchup. It's it kind of a co-promoting title shot. I kind of like stuff like this. Makes the wrestling world feel bigger, so I'm going to give this a thumbs up. Next up, the longest match of the evening, the Hardcore Tag Team War, and its 6-man tag team action. Is you have Anthony Mayweather, the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, if you remember him, Elijah Burke, JTG, one half of Crime Time, formerly one half of Crime Time, rest in peace, Shad, taking on Alex Taylor, who is a replacement for Magic Jake Dumas, Jack Stain, and Mercurio. It was definitely a fun, interesting match. A lot of interference from the heel side, but end of the day, Mayweather ended up eliminating the other side for the win. Like I said, decently paced match. I really enjoyed it. I think pre-show match of the night. Oh, and then we got this little dilly for the vacant NWA television title as Jordan Clearwater takes on AJ Kazana. And boy, oh boy, did these two drop some bombs on each other. Like, this was a hard-hitting, yet still kind of quick-paced match, if you can believe that. Clearwater ends up getting the victory and becoming the new television title, bringing, so far at least one, title to Idol Sports Management. I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. I do believe it was intended for the main card, but then it got pushed back to the pre-show, considering there's like 10,000 matches on this thing. So yeah, I thought it was fun. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Next match, a Voodoo Queen casket match where there's no pinfall, no submission. The winner stuffs their opponent into a casket, closes the lid. As we have them, Max the Impaler, taking on Natalia Markova. This was definitely a bit of a hoss fight, and I didn't really expect it to be. Both sides trying to hit each other with big move after big move. Max has Markova up on the ramp where the casket is. Looks like Markova's going to counter and get her in the casket. Out comes Sal the Pal, miserably faithful team, to interfere. Max hits their big power bomb, stuffs them in the casket for the win. I'm okay with the interference because, they're on a squad together, so I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. It was definitely a good paced hoss fight that I didn't know I needed. Next match for the MLW National Openweight Championship. Yes, we have more intra-promotional matches going down, as we have Davey Richards defending against Colby Carino, in which Colby Carino called this a dream match, which that's kind of interesting. Definitely another high impact matchup. Both sides worked really well with one another. At multiple points, Davey Richards tries the submission on Colby. Colby gets out of it. Colby with a couple big moves of his own with a kick out from Davey. Davey then hits his top rope foot stomp for the pin, the win, and the retain. I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. These two worked really well together, and I think you should go check it out. I really enjoyed this matchup. Next up, a bit of a slowdown match, because it wasn't really a match, it was more of an angle, as we have the Question Mark being led to the ring by, Question Mark being led to the ring by Aaron Stevens, and then Question Mark 2, who has Jailer Kratos in his corner, which, that's kind of interesting, although Kratos is then let out of the arena because he doesn't have his management license, which I didn't know was a thing, so good on Aaron Stevens. Kratos then does come back out mid-match, tries to get Stevens, which causes a distraction for his guy. Question Mark 2 with the Mongolian throat chop, which that's devastating whoever does it. For the pin, the win. And of course, this is a mask versus mask matchup. So the original Question Mark, after some deliberation, did unmask. However, immediately, Stevens put a towel over his head. Now, honestly, we all know that's Rodney Mack under the mask. Like, you can tell by the body type and just by the moves he does. Like, it's kind of funny, but I think it's more than time to end this and let Rodney Mack and Aaron Stevens feud with the Question Mark a little bit. I'd be okay with that. I'm going to give this match kind of a thumbs over. Like I said, it wasn't much of a match. It was more of an angle, which I'm kind of okay with. It did slow the show down a little bit, but not too badly. So, this next match, I think, was my match of the evening, honestly. As we have the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line, as Homicide takes on Kerry Morton. These two do have a bit of history. I believe they teamed together not too long ago. Kerry won a number one contenders match a bit back. And yeah, this was a fun one. A lot of high impact moves. There was some flipping, but not a ton, which I'm kind of okay with. Homicide and Kerry are on the outside, with Homicide just laying into Kerry, in which Ricky comes around the corner, and then Homicide turns his attention to him, which that's. You don't disrespect a legend like that. So Kerry gets behind him, throws him back in the ring. It's one of the prettiest drop kicks I've ever seen out of the kid. Hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and new junior heavyweight champion, Kerry Morton. Like I said, I think this is my match of the evening. And I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up and my must-watch seal of approval. This was a hell of a good, fun match. Next up, it was originally slated that Odinson would take on Nick Aldis, but there has been some controversy from Nick, and he got suspended from the show. He is also ending his run in the NWA in January, so all this is not long for this promotion. So Odinson then came out, issued an open challenge to anyone in the back. Out comes who I thought would be the TV champion, or at least the national champion, Thrillbilly Silas, who brings out a ref by his necktie. They go in the ring, have a little stare down for a minute. They hoss it up a little bit. Thrillbilly Silas then finds his Odinson's like hype up potion. I don't even know what that is. Like that, it's never really explained what that's supposed to do. But then Thrillbilly Silas kind of sprays it on himself. Looks like he's getting hyped up off of it. Immediately eats a clothesline. But then Odinson has Thrillbilly in the corner. Thrillbilly counters, hits a beautiful belly-to-belly suplex for the big win. I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. This was a lot of fun. It was a little bit shorter than I was hoping for, but it is a very long show. So, yeah, I had fun with it. It was definitely a good, solid, palate-cleansing match, which sometimes you need on shows like these. Alright, next up for the NWA United States Tag Team Championships. As the Fixers, Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky, take on the Spectaculars, Bradley Pierce and Rush Freeman. You do have Rolando Freeman coming out with them. So this team is definitely an interesting team. The Fixers definitely have a size advantage, though, which they capitalize on pretty early. Spectaculars try to come back, but it is for naught. Rolando Freeman then tries to get in the ring and tries to intimidate the Fixers, which definitely goes awry. Fixers with a double choke slam on, I believe it was Rush Freeman, for the pin and the retention. So your winners and still U.S. Tag Team Champions, the Fixers. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It was a surprisingly quick and yet still kind of monster mashy match. It was a decent clash of styles, which I really do enjoy. And yeah, we'll see where the Fixers go from here. Next up, for the NWA National Heavyweight Championship, we have Scion taking on Dak Draper. Draper with some big offense early on. Scion counters for a little bit. Then Dak Draper has him up for a suplex or something. And Austin Idol gets at least on the apron for the interference. And then Scion hits his finisher for the win. this match was way too short. I feel like if given enough time for these two, they could have put on a heck of a better match. But still, I'm going to give my... I think it's like right about here. Like, it's not a bad match. I just wish it had a little bit more time to really get going. Next up, we have the NWA Women's Tag Team Championships. Yes, we have 3 sets of tag team titles here. As we have Pretty Empowered, Ella Envy, and Kenzie Page taking on Maddie Rankowski and Missa Kate. Pretty early on, Missa Kate and Maddie do look like they're outperforming the champions. Then what happens is an errant throw by Maddie Rankowski onto Missa Kate, in which Missa Kate... No, it's the other way around. Missa Kate had accidentally hit Maddie, in which, on going for a tag, Maddie Rankowski jumps off the ring apron and leaves, which leaves Pretty Empowered to hit their finisher for the win. Ultimately, this felt like a nothing match. Like, I'm okay with the can they coexist angle, in which I think that was executed very well. I do wish this match was given a tiny bit more time. I feel like it was just getting good, and then the pin dropped, and it felt a little bit rushed. So, I'm going to give this match kind of right here. The match itself wasn't bad, but I feel like it was rushed a lot. Speaking of a rushed match, we have EC3 taking on Tom Latimer. No titles. Don't worry about it. About half the time, EC3 was on the mic, running down Tom Latimer, saying that the only way he could actually hit someone is if he was drunk, which I guess he has those problems, and that he's being held up by his wife, Camille. We'll talk about her in a few. And then I guess Latimer used a weapon or something. No, I think this match was thrown out due to a pretty real looking punch by Tom Latimer on EC3, who then, after the bell, had EC3 in a pretty darn good looking submission hold, in which, yeah, it was fine. I'm not going to rate this match because it was, like I said, it was less of a match, more of an angle, in which I guess this feud is continuing, which, yeah, I don't mind that. I do wish there's going to be a finishing point for this, because this is a pretty interesting story to me. Next up, we have the NWA World Tag Team Title match, as La Rebellion, Bestia 666, and Mecha Wolf being led out by Damien 666, as they take on Hawks Aerie, Luke and PJ Hawks, the father-son duo from New Orleans. And boy, oh boy, did it look like at many turns, Hawks Aerie were going to get the pinfall. And honestly, I was here for it. I was ready for the crowd to go nuts, to lose their minds for the hometown boys. Now, usually in La Rebellion matches, Bestia, who's usually outside the ring, spits a mist at one of their opponents, which would lead to the win for La Rebellion. However, that did not happen. Instead, Mecha Wolf and Bestia both hit miss on their opponents. They hit their finish for the win. I'm going to give this match a thumbs up. I really enjoyed this match. It proves to me why tag team wrestling rules so hard. And I'm definitely okay with the spit takes. It feels right to the characters of La Rebellion to do that. Hopefully we do get a Commonwealth Connection return, in which we could see that match again. Those matches ruled. I don't care who you say. I am a little disappointed we didn't pull the trigger on Hawks Aerie because I feel like a tag team title run is inevitable for them. But we'll see what happens. Oi, a very, very handicapped match coming up next, and it's a triple threat match for the World Women's Championship as Camille defends against Chelsea Green and Kylan King. Now, Chelsea Green, I think this is going to be her last kind of televised event for the NWA. I know she's finished with Impact, and there's rumors she's going to WWE. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, you got the big Clash of the Titans between Camille and King, which I do enjoy. Then you have the little speed threat of Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green and King actually worked really, really well together. A lot of counters. Definitely a big move out of Kylan King. Onto Camille, in which Chelsea Green pulled the ref out of the ring, blocking the pinfall, in which I thought she was going to win that there. That would have been awesome. Finish comes with Camille hitting the spear on Chelsea for the 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still NWA Women's Champion, Camille. Hopefully we'll see somebody kind of newish not only get the shot, but I think it's more than time to dethrone Camille. Like, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy a long, meaningful title reign. But Camille has had this title for over 900 days, which is crazy to me. So I think, maybe not next time, but in the near future, I think it's time to unseat Camille. I do wish this match had a little bit more time, because I think it was one of my favorite matches of the evening. All three women worked really, really well together. The finish just felt like it came out of nowhere. So I'm going to give it, like, kind of right here. It's still a thumbs up, but it's kind of a sideways. And fine, Alamo, the match I've been dreading. The NWA World Heavyweight title match in another triple threat match, as it's Trevor Murdoch defending his title not only against Matt Cardona, but against Tyrus. And honestly, all Murdoch and Cardona worked really, really well together. And even a little decently with Tyrus. But let's face it, Tyrus is not a great wrestler. I'm sorry to say. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm okay with giants. They have their place in pro wrestling. But the match itself was fine. You had a top rope bulldog onto Tyrus, in which I thought that was going to be the finish. Cardona breaks it up. Tyrus then with a double heart. No, he actually did a submission, which I thought was interesting. Apparently he has familial connections with Meng, if you know who that is. So he had a Tongan death grip, which I think fit Tyrus really well for the submission win. So, actually, no, that isn't the finish. Tyrus then goes for the throat punch on Matt Cardona. Pin and win, and your new NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Tyrus. Now, match itself was fine. I'm going to give this, like, right here. All three did work really, really well together. But Tyrus slowed this match down, what for? Like, don't get me wrong. Trevor Murdoch is definitely not he's not a cruiserweight. Definitely not. But as a decent technical dude, he can hold his own. I like Trevor Murdoch's style. And Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is one of the best heels in the business. And he is such an underrated wrestler. It's not even funny. Tyrus. Tyrus as world champion. Like, I know there's a lot of people unsubscribing from Fight TV's NWA channel because of this, and I do not blame them. I do not like Tyrus as world champion. He's not a good wrestler. He's really not. He's gassed about halfway through, 5 minutes into any match he's had for the NWA. That's why he had the TV title for so long. He that had a time limit on it, which is great for him. It worked. But as world champion, I don't see it. I really don't see it. So, here's what I'm going to say. As much as I do not like Tyrus as world champion, I'm going to stick to watching the NWA for pretty much everyone else. Everyone else is super good, super talented. Even the younger dudes who are on the up and up, I feel like deserve more of an audience. So I'm going to stick with the NWA for them. Not so much for Tyrus, because Tyrus. Yeah, that's my review for the show. Ultimately, there are a few matches I wish went a little bit longer. We're given more time to breathe. And, of course, the new champ, which I can say all of us are disappointed in. So, overall, it's a middle-of-the-road show. Not super great, but people are still talking about it with Tyrus as world champion. So, can't blame them for that. I do plan on bringing a video up on a topic I haven't done in a while. I'm going to do a little review of my thoughts on Phase 4 so far, in which, the MCU. I'm going to go see Black Panther tonight. I am both excited and I am ready to cry because rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. And then a little later on in the week, we have a pretty big doubleheader from Impact Wrestling and AEW. As we have Impact Wrestling Overdrive on Friday, and then Saturday, AEW Full Gear, in which I'm pretty excited for both those shows. I can't wait. Hopefully you join me for those. And until then, I shall see you next time. Peace.